Joe Anderson and Al Clopine of Pure Financial Advisors have the answers to your retirement plan. This is your money, your wealth.
Can you retire? Or maybe the question should be, should you retire? For those of you that are approaching retirement age, that is one of the biggest decisions that you'll ever make in your life because you are giving up a paycheck to create your own paycheck. But before you get into dollars and cents, there's a lot more things that you have to consider. Because what are you going to do? How are you going to spend your time? What is your social circles going to look like? That is what we're going to get into today. Welcome to the show. Show's called Your Money, Your Wealth. My name is Joe Anderson. I'm a certified financial planner, president of Pure Financial Advisors. I'm with the big man, as always, Mr. Alan Clopine. He's a CPA. Big Al will join us in just a second, but what I want to dive into is the softer side of finances, because this is extremely important. You have 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 years of age every single day for the next 15 years. Think about that, 10,000 every single day for the next 15 years. And there is a lack of planning when it comes to what you're going to do. How are you going to spend your time? Most retirees sit around and watch TV. You are watching TV right now. Hopefully you get off the couch and do something. That's what's on my mind today. All right, so let's get into the softer side of finance, because when you look at retirement, unfortunately, there's a lot more statistics than ever before, and a lot of them are not very good. Most men in their 60s are in some sort of depression. Retirees today, highest rate of, not suicide, of course, suicide, yeah, let's talk about death. No, the highest rate of divorce right now are couples in their 60s. And the reason for that is they haven't had a strategic plan on how to spend their time. So let's dive in. Let's bring in the big man, Big Al Clopine. Alan, are you ready for retirement?
Not yet, but I'm getting there.
So most advisors, tax advisors, certified financial planners, focus on dollars and cents, right? How much money do you need? What is the tax rate? What rate of return do you need to generate? What's Social Security? What's your pension look like? All of that is extremely important. But before you even get there, I think people have to take a step back and plan what their life is going to look like.
Well, I think so too, Joe. And really, it's really nice that we're doing it on this particular show, this being our first show of the year. Because there is a lot more to retirement than just dollars and cents. You really have to figure out what you want to do with your time, among other things. So that's what we're going to focus on today, is those planning items, those things that you have to think about even before the dollars and cents. So here's 5 different keys to retiring successfully, having a retirement lifestyle plan. So the first one is, how are you going to fill your time, your activities? Very important. So we're going to get into what some of the choices are and what some of the successful retirees are doing right now. Just as important is intellectual stimulation in terms of how do you keep yourself relevant, current, how do you keep yourself learning, because that helps keep you younger. Then we want to get into health, of course. How are you going to keep yourself healthy? That comes without question. If you don't have your health, your retirement's not very good. And married couples, a couple tips for you, because it can be more challenging. All of a sudden, you're spending a lot more time together. And then to put this all together is to come up with a plan, kind of a retirement lifestyle plan, and then figure out how in the heck you're going to afford this. And Joe, I think it's really cool we're starting with this as our first show of the year, because it's really should be the starting point of any retirement plan.
Well, if you think about retirement, Al, it's fairly new, right? Because we're living a lot longer. People are retiring a lot earlier.
Sure.
So that means that there's a lot more time that people are spending together.
Right.
But there's a lot more things that you can do. It's like new opportunities. You can start a business. You can travel. You can volunteer. Get involved with clubs. Do something that you're extremely passionate about. Because if you look today, people that are approaching retirement age, they might be working longer than their working years, or they're retired longer than their working years. So with that being said, you have to have a plan in place. Not necessarily, like I said before, with dollars and cents, but you want to make sure that you plan what your life is going to look like, because it's extremely important.
Well, that's exactly right. So let's get into this. Some of the activities that people are doing in retirement. And right off the bat is part-time work. And some people are working in retirement because they need to. They need some extra income. But many are working just to have some intellectual stimulation, and that's something really to consider. Others are spending a lot of time with hobbies, things maybe that they wanted to do while they were working and didn't have the time. Many are babysitting grandkids and finding that very fulfilling. A lot of people tend to travel at the very beginning, and I would say volunteering, Joe, is one of those things that we find a lot of people that are happy in retirement are actually giving back to society in some form of volunteering.
Right. Well, you got to find that passion, right? You got to find that fulfillment. You got to find that purpose, because a lot of you that are working, you have that commitment, you have that passion, you have that fulfillment through your job. And your social circles are through people that you work with. You know, Big Al and I spend, it seems like, every second together. You know, but once
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, it's awful. I got to tell you. No, I'm kidding. I love you. But when you look at things,
oh, you love me? Huh?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
very much
nice.
so.
Very
Happy
nice.
New Year.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, we're starting the new year off right. But see, it's
so.
all about love and happiness.
Yes. Right.
But here's what we find. Al and I have been doing this for many years. And so when people approach retirement, they get extremely excited. Okay, hey, I'm leaving my workforce. But then all of a sudden, it's like, all right, well, now what? What is the next steps here? Finding a hobby is so critical. Volunteering, trying to find that second phase of life is extremely important. So practicing retirement. I think you have a story with your father that would practice retirement.
Well,
and retire to something, not necessarily from something.
That's exactly right. And my dad retired actually at my same age, 57. So I'm going to retire in another month.
Please do.
Follow my father's footsteps.
I'm going to do that financial plan for you.
At any rate, yeah, in my dad's case, he retired at 57 and went into another career, which was working for the National Park Service with my mom, as well as doing other hobbies that he didn't really have a lot of time for prior to that. So, and they did that for about 10 years, so it was really pretty successful. But I think we have a clip on volunteering to see what some of you guys are doing.
Laura and Walter Borchell knew when they retired they would need to find something they enjoyed to make their extra time more rewarding. Laura put more time into molding glass into works of art, but they soon learned their time had an unexpected value.
I found it just so rewarding to see how much of a difference you can make with really simple things.
Through their church, the Borchells got involved with Just in Time for Foster Youth, a program that pairs mentors with young adults who've spent most of their lives in foster care.
The reality is, for a lot of these foster kids, when they turn 18, someone actually gives them a plastic trash bag with their stuff, and they're on their own.
The Borchells are paired up with a former foster kid, now going to college. They mentor her through the aspects of life that most people take for granted, from helping her shop for items she'll need for her first apartment to honing her driving skills.
There's an incredible need, and that if you want something where you can really feel that you're making a difference and get back much more than you give, this is really the organization.
The Borchells' golden years are coming with a payoff they never expected, now molding glass and lives into works of art.
Great story. You know, you look at fulfillment in life is just finding that second step, that second phase, and that's a great story. Just proving that they're more fulfilled now in retirement, doing things for charity and volunteering their time than they were when they were working.
And it's so true. It really, it's you're giving to society in one way or another, but you're getting back as much or more, and that's really the key here. So, Joe, I think the next step really is to make sure that you continue learning. Intellectual growth is real important. And Albert Einstein, I think, had a really good quote where he says, intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. And I could not agree more. I think your ability to read and continue to learn when you're retired, you even have a little bit more time for that, it should be one of the most important things, because that way you stay young and fresh and you keep learning. John Wooden, who was the very successful college basketball coach for UCLA Bruins, he wrote a book at age 96, and he said he's learning as much now as he's ever learned, and that's what kept him young for many years.
All right, we got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, we're going to dive in more, some different activities, different hobbies, different things that you should take a look at once you approach retirement. Yes, of course, dollars and cents, how much money that you need, taxes, inflation, investments, the stock market, everything else is extremely important, but you have to start here, because if you have all the money in the world and you're sick, bored, right, what's it all for? Don't let that happen to you. We'll be back in just a second. You're watching Your Money, Your Wealth. Hey, welcome back to the program. Show's called Your Money or Wealth. Joe Anderson, Big Al Clopine hanging out here, talking finances with you, talking about retirement planning, some of the things that you got to consider before you even step and think about retirement, lifestyle. What are you going to do? How are you going to spend your time? Hobbies, travel, volunteering, the whole 9 yards. So that's what we're getting into today. And also a little trivia. So let's go to the trivia question, see how you did here.
All right, let's see if you get this right. What is the top travel destination in the continental United States? And here's your choices: San Francisco, Las Vegas, New York City, or Disneyland.
Well, can we clarify of what age group? It was like from the AARP.
Yeah, this is 50 plus.
50 plus vacation. So it's probably not Disneyland.
Well, yeah, they're taking their grandkids, maybe.
Well, there could be. I would,
Yeah. What do you think?
Las Vegas?
You would be correct. Did you get that at home? Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
That is the answer. Not to mention, I mean, the other ones are fine too. I mean, you've been to Vegas many times. Yeah?
You know, I went to a casino in Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota,
Yeah,
northern Minnesota. And that is heaven's waiting room right there. I mean, I have never seen.
Are you saying they're a little bit older there?
A little bit. They're smoking
Not
cigarettes and
frail
then they're
health?
playing
Yeah.
the bing, 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 bing. It was, yes.
Wow,
So, yeah, I
okay.
can see where, well, Minnesota's cold, you know, so you have to go somewhere and relax.
So were they not really exercising that much?
No, they
would you
need to
say?
exercise. I mean,
Yeah.
eating healthy and exercise is key to a long life.
I suppose, yeah.
But here's the problem too, Al, is that if you look at the crisis, if you will, in retirement, okay, because people are living a lot longer and people don't necessarily have enough capital to maintain their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So if you eat healthy, you're going to live longer. You might run out of money sooner.
That's true.
So you might not
If you don't
necessarily
have
want to
enough
take
money, maybe eat less well, huh?
Yes, right. Just go to McDonald's.
Yeah, all the time.
So yeah, eating healthy and exercise is key.
Yeah, it is. And I think we've got a little video on exercising.
With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along.
Start exercising just like them, Al.
That's-
Is that how you exercise?
Yeah, I go down the stairs. Boy, that was a lot.
Yeah, that looks like it. Oh boy. Well, eating healthy is key. So
It is.
So you want to spend some time here, and then you got to go back to school, even in your 60s and 70s when it comes to retirement, on how you should eat. So it's the whole food pyramid, right?
Well, it is.
Why don't you
So-
educate, Dr. Clopine? Why don't you educate our viewers
All right.
on what they should be eating?
Even though I'm a CPA, I'm going to go into being a dietitian. Here you go. So this is from the President's Council of Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition. Tips for eating healthy. And I like this because this is something that everybody can do. This isn't too extreme. So number one is make half of your plates fruits and vegetables. Okay, we can do that. Make half the grains that you eat whole grain. This isn't too extreme. Switch to fat-free or low-fat milk and choose a variety of low-protein foods like chicken, turkey, fish, and the like. This is something that we can all do and should do, right? Yeah?
Yes, you should,
So
Al.
do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, that was great. Now, we're a financial planning show. I'm a certified financial planner. Big Al's a CPA, and we're talking about half your plate full of fruit.
We
So
are.
This is a new leaf here for, yeah,
So
for the
wait
new
a
year.
minute. So the other thing, we didn't really talk about health. How many times should you exercise a week? How many times do you exercise a week?
I exercise 6 times a week.
6 times.
Yeah.
That's extreme, but that's good.
Well, you got to get your mind straight. I used to be really fat.
little more
yeah,
chunky?
Yeah, a little fat.
Not
Joe.
fat, but you were fat.
Well, we had that commercial.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Well, that's
Where,
true.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they
it
say
looked like-
commercial adds about 10 pounds on you, but
Yes.
it added about 40.
About 60. About 60. But you should have fun, right? So you eat healthy, but you also don't necessarily want to just not have fun in retirement. So I think we got a clip on having some fun in retirement as well.
So that's something my parents would do, right?
That's
Or should
dangerous. I don't,
Yeah.
is that fun?
Well, it
Well, it
was,
looked like that couple was having
they
fun.
were having fun, and it was funny for us.
Yes.
But the point is, you do have to have fun. And if you are a married couple, there's a couple tips, right, in terms of staying happily married. And I would say the biggest one right off the bat is make sure you don't spend all of your time together. I mean, this is kind of obvious.
Yeah,
but
because you could end like this couple here too.
About you loving the ballet, Gary. It's about the person that you love loves the ballet, and you wanting to spend time with that person.
Not when they're at the ballet.
Okay, forget the ballet. Forget the ballet. We don't go anywhere together.
We just went to Ann Arbor together.
To Ann Arbor, to the Michigan Notre Dame game. You think screaming drunk kids and leprechauns doing backflips, that's fun. That's fun for me.
That sounds fun to me. And
Yeah,
apparently
I'd sign
that's,
up for that too.
that is
but
why
not to Jennifer.
That's why I'm still single. Apparently, apparently. But here's the real deal, right? So when I said this statistic, and I say it all the time, and it bothers me, but I'm going to say it again.
It bothers me too.
Yes,
You can say it a second time on the
because
same show.
here is the deal. If you look at divorce rates right now, the highest is couples in their 60s.
Really?
And why is that? Because they're spending more time together. They're getting in each other's way.
Yeah.
When you were working, right, when both spouses were working, maybe one spouse was at the office or the other spouse was doing something, they had time apart. Now you're retired, you're spending so much time together, and it's blowing up marriages, and it hurts the heart.
Right, so it's okay to spend time together. You want to spend time together. You can even have hobbies together, but have some time alone, have some separate time. Maybe the both spouse, one volunteers here, another one volunteers here, and so forth. So here we go, we're getting cute on this. Now, let's put this all together. Let's set up your retirement lifestyle plan. What are the questions you got to ask yourself? How about this? Where do you want to live? What activities will fill your time? How will you stay healthy? How can you continue a lifetime of learning? And how can you afford all of this?
That's the key. So when we got to take another break, but just think about those questions because they're important. It's like, okay, well, what is the next step going to look like? Spend some time, map this out, have a roadmap. When we get back from the break, we'll get into the financial pieces of things to see, all right, well, how much money do you actually need to maintain the lifestyle for the next 20 or 30 years?
And this is what we're better at.
Yeah, a lot better at this. So stick around for that. You're watching Your Money, Your Wealth. Hey, welcome back to the program. Show's called Your Money, Your Wealth. Joe Anderson here, certified financial planner, alongside, of course, the big man, Big Al Clopine, talking retirement planning. We talked about lifestyle planning. We talked about what are some of the challenges that people have when they approach retirement when it comes to their lifestyle. Now let's get into the dollars and cents. But before we do that, we're doing a little trivia today. Let's go to the trivia question, see how you did here.
What is the most watched cable network station by adults age 50 and older, according to AARP research? Here's your choices: the History Channel, the Weather Channel, or the Fox News Channel. Did you get that right?
Well, I don't know, Al. What do we got? History Channel, the Weather Channel?
Weather and Fox News. What do you think, Joe?
I'm going to go weather.
Yeah, close. It was second. The number one is the History Channel.
History Channel, number one.
History Channel. But I will tell you, when over 70 and older, it's the Weather Channel.
70 and yes,
70
right?
and older.
And then I think demographics too might have if you live in a colder climate, it's probably definitely Weather Channel.
Probably
if you've ever been to Minnesota, that's all they do is talk about the weather.
Yeah,
Here in San Diego, Southern California, it's like it's always beautiful. It's nothing really to talk about. It's like, hey, another beautiful day.
I was going to say, Joe, my grandma used to have a phone number right near there didn't used to be internet, right? So people called in for the weather, and her phone number was very close to that. People would call her up and she'd say, you got the wrong number. But later on, to have some fun in retirement, she used to say, well, hold on a second, let me go look out the window. And then she'd come back and say as if sunny or rainy. So there you go.
Great story, Al. Phenomenal story. Okay, here, let's get into the nuts and bolts of things here when it comes to figuring out exactly what your number is. Because here's the bottom line. All right, so you planned your retirement out of what you're going to do, what the social circles are going to look like, what volunteering you're going to do, what hobbies that you're going to get involved with. But now, how are you going to fund this? How much is it going to cost you? So let's start here. Let's start with your goal in mind. Let's say that you want to spend $100,000 a year. I know that's a big number, but the math is really easy for me. All right, so let's say that you have $60,000 coming in as fixed income. What fixed income is your Social Security, pension, maybe real estate income. Whatever's going to come to you as a fixed income source. Here's the goal. Here's my fixed income. Then I subtract this out, and then I look at, all right, well, here, I need $40,000 coming from my portfolio, $40,000. So this is the first step of your financial plan. Most people don't do this. You need to figure out what the magic number is. This is the first step. So Al, if I have my goal of $100,000, if I have $60,000 of fixed income coming in, and $40,000 is the number that I need to come from my portfolio, what's the next step?
Yeah, next step is you want to multiply that shortfall by 25. So in this case, $40,000 by 25 is $1 million. So that's approximately what you would need to cover your retirement shortfall.
So 40 grand, I got to multiply that by 25. So that is going to equal a big number, $1 million. $1 million bucks. That's what you need to provide $40,000 of income for the next 30 years. It's called the 4% rule. You do not want to take out any more than 4% of your overall portfolio. So a real simple example, if you have $100,000, you don't want to take out any more than $4,000 per year. Even though $100,000 seems like a lot of money. In today's environment, you probably need a little bit more. But here's the problem. Most of you don't have that money. So Al, what should people do?
Well, it's a lot of people, when they see that, they just give up. It's like, well, I'm not going to make it. But there's some real things that you can do. First of all, if you're still working, try to save a little bit more, work on spending a little bit less. And believe it or not, sometimes working an extra year or two can make a big difference in your overall retirement, because it's all about having that nest egg when you retire and then utilizing it successfully.
Here's the deal. This is what needs to change. The whole retirement environment needs to change, because it's basically three things, right? You're going to have to spend less and save more, all right? You're going to have to extend your retirement or extend your working years. The new retirement age, Al, in my opinion, should be age 70. Because a lot of good things happen then, because now you maximize your Social Security. You worked a few more years. You saved more money. This is what really needs to happen to secure the overall retirement, because most people really don't understand what they need is dollars and cents to provide the lifestyle. Or you're going to just face it and then just have to live off significantly less than what you're currently living off of. Most people don't want to do that. There's simple solutions. It's basically a combination of three things. Work longer, save a little bit more, right? And then maximize all fixed income sources that are going to come to you. Hey, we got a couple of email questions. Let's get to those, Al.
All right, here we go. This is from Tom in San Diego. I have a regular IRA and a Roth. Can I contribute to each one for 2014?
I wasn't even paying attention. What did you say?
All right, I'll answer the question.
He's got an IRA and he's got a Roth IRA. Can I contribute to both of them? No, it's $5,500 per IRA. So if it's a Roth or traditional IRA, that's it. It's $5,500. If you're over 50, you get a $1,000 catch-up of $6,500. So sometimes people think, if this is answering your question, I hope it is that, hey, can I put in $5,500 into an IRA and then also $5,500 into a Roth IRA? The answer is no. It's a total of $5,500. If you're over 50, you get the $1,000 catch-up. You still have until April 15th of this year, 2015, to make a 2014 contribution.
Yeah, that's important. And then I would also say you can mix and match. So if you want to put $3,000 into a Roth IRA and maybe $2,500 into a regular IRA, as long as they total up to $5,500, that's fine. And Joe, as you just said, if you're over 50, you can do $6,500.
Well, Al, let's kind of wrap this thing up. When you take a look at your overall retirement, dollars and cents, and these numbers get a little bit scary. So I think the first step, hopefully what you got from today, is to really take a look at what you want to do in retirement. What is that social circle going to look like? You do not want to be bored and sitting around and watching TV. This is the second phase of life, so you want to make sure that you have a plan of attack. So what is the hobbies? Are you going to volunteer? Maybe you go back to work part-time. A lot of retirees are finding some different passions in life to figure out exactly what they need to do. Do that planning first. Do that planning first. Then you can identify how much your lifestyle is going to cost you. Then you can get into the math and the science behind overall retirement planning. Hopefully you enjoyed the show today. We'll be back again real soon. For Big Al Clopine, I'm Joe Anderson, and you just watched another episode of Your Money, Your Wealth.